singing our song, helping and sharing the load. It's worth the pointed roll when we sing together. We're there at the end of the road. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues.
The revolution is back on track and full steam ahead as Blues net 6. Yes, 6 past Reading. 6 in 90 minutes, and our friends from across the expressway have netted 6 since September the 13th. Damari Gray gets his first professional hat-trick. Reading manager Nigel Adkins is relieved of his duties tonight. The big man returns, give him a few games to get back into the swing of things. Blues commentators go silent for the whole rendition of Keep Right On Saturday. I couldn't make the match because I was working early evening. Peter Panu, no longer CEO as BIHL, bite back. However, he is still a director of Birmingham City Football Club. West Brom win the derby and Craig Gardner is a blue, rings round at St Andrews. He takes a lot of Twitter abuse from morons and tweets back here that the Blues were singing that was the icing on the cake. Up next, Huddersfield away, and we keep climbing the table. 4 places on Saturday. I'm beginning to get a nosebleed. Just another week being a Birmingham City fan.
We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say?
A very Merry Christmas to the last Tilton Talk show of 2014, and we're going to leave it on a high this week. Greetings, Chris Pugh.
Good evening.
How are you, mate?
I'm well, yourself?
Dandy, I'm absolutely dandy. Natalie Peters with your blue and white Saturday hat on.
How you doing? You alright?
I'm buzzing.
Yeah, after
and,
Saturday,
Chris
yeah.
Owen with his white headphones.
Good evening.
Not had a shave, you're going to see?
Nope.
Scruffy git.
No way. Neither right, to be fair, so like, you know.
Yeah, last Tilton Talk show of the year. Well, we're going to see 2014 out, certainly on this show, on a high. Really, things couldn't have gone better over the last, 7 or 8 games, 7 games, something like that.
6 or 7, yeah.
I couldn't believe what went on Saturday. What went on Saturday? Somebody pinch me, please. Did we really score 6?
You're listening to the Tilton Talk Show on srbradio.com.
BCFC UK is saying the biggest worry we have is not Carson but Panu, who still has an influence over the ladies and community trust. Your take on that, Chris?
I think the control he has over the ladies, because it's a separate entity as such. You know, he did put his own. You know, he's put a lot of interest into it and provided money, which David Parker's maintained. You know, on a number of occasions, this board have done more for the club than the goals.
I've heard him say that himself. Yeah, I've heard him say that himself.
But I don't know where this leaves. That's another difficult situation, is it? I don't know where it leaves his involvement and his backing of the ladies team, unfortunately. And that will be.
Well, I'm saying I don't believe Panu will be gone until Carson sells his stake. Carson may well not sell his stake. He may be proved an innocent man very shortly.
And then there's no reason for him to, is there?
And then all this has been in vain. All these last 3 years worth of, misery and but having said that, look, it could. I don't know. I'm confused as to where all this is going.
Yeah.
But it could be that he comes back and says, well, we've got this pot of funds now that we can say, there you go, Birmingham City. It wasn't me all along.
I think there was a question, even before he went into prison, how much money did he actually have?
I've no idea.
Because, as I said, I was saying last week...
I know how much my son earns cutting hair.
Well, yeah, I mean, take out whatever he meant to have done, or whatever he's meant to have done, criminal-wise. There was always the issues, even before he even went inside, that he was constantly having to refinance and looking for new sources of capital, which suggests he doesn't actually have that much of his own. Now, when he took over, we were a club that was in mid-table of the Premier League. Yeah. So obviously, we are a club that might be attractive to other investors, to people who get behind him, even abroad. We are now a club that's in the lower half of the Championship. Which we do dwindling crowds. How easy is it going to be for him, if he needs to actually get someone from, someone from the outside to come in with him and actually invest some money? Because at the moment we're not in a particularly attractive investment
if you had a lot of money, and I'm going to ask this question, right? Would you invest your money in Birmingham International Holdings or Birmingham City Football Club with a guy who's been at the moment convicted for money laundering, right? And you've got all these issues as to where the money came from. Why did he refinance? Chris?
No.
Chris?
No, but it also works two ways, doesn't it? I mean, you also might think that investors might be able to get us on the cheap because of our predicament.
Yeah, but it's the going into partnership thing that I think people would really struggle with.
No, I couldn't.
I don't think
can't see
he's
people
looking
against
to.
partnership.
He's not looking to sell. If he comes out, he's not looking to sell. No way. So if he is looking for investment, it's only to pump money into the club.
Good point here from BCFC UK. Not being a waste, it has galvanised the fans and may teach us a lesson to back BCFC UK instead of trying to change ownership, which you can not do unless they want to sell.
Yeah.
Very good point. Very good
I
point.
don't think they've wanted to sell from day one.
Right, okay, so Blythe Spartans up soon as well, aren't they?
I can't wait for that.
Doco's saying we've got 1,000 tickets on who would want to pay 20 quid to sit in a shed in some godforsaken Geordie
Well,
town.
Doco's wrong. You have to stand in the shed.
Birmingham City fans will,
Nonsense,
Doco.
yeah.
Birmingham City fans will. And you can't go anyway, Doco, because they've only apparently got one toilet there. Swear tell them. Swear tell them.
That's actually quite funny.
Thank you. It's Christmas. We're going to get jovial in the second half. Right, nobody won the competition. Surprise, surprise this week.
Nobody predicted 6-1.
So what we're going to do now for the next 10 minutes until we go on our half-time break is ask you to predict the Huddersfield gate and the Huddersfield score. Away you go. It's all yours. Chris Pugh.
Me first.
Yeah, away.
Did they just get battered by Norwich? Was that
Yeah,
them?
The last
yeah.
5-1 at the
Five,
weekend, yeah.
was it 5-1 or 5-0?
I think it was it 5-1?
5-0, I think it might be.
Yeah.
They beat,
They're gonna look
but
like- they're
they
gonna
beat
want to bounce
Brentford.
back, aren't they?
They beat Brentford the week before that.
Okay.
It was Powell.
I need an answer.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
What's that off? What's that? Oh, that's
I was just trying to think of the countdown.
catchphrase. I need an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do a countdown.
Okay, I will go.
You're
2-1
quieter than the
Blues.
Football League, you are, pal.
I'll let you know in.
Answer for a politician.
I'll let you know in 9 days.
Yeah.
I'll go 2-1 Blues,
Okay, so that's 1-2.
and I will go 13-4-11.
4-1-1. Nat, can you be quicker than that?
Right. Okay. First of all, the score. I think we'll win 2-1. I think.
You're going 1-2, yep.
Yeah. The ground. Well, I think Blues will take about 1.5, maybe 2,000. I don't know what Huddersfield sort of average sense is. All I know about the Huddersfield ground, it's the coldest place on earth,
freezing.
and this time
Colder
of year
than
it's going to be absolutely
It's so
horrible.
open. Colder than Oldham.
I reckon the crowd's going to be a really meagre 11,305.
Yeah, it's Christmas, isn't it?
11-3-05 and 1-2. Chris Brown
I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I'm shouting. So.
for the Blues.
Yeah, 2-0 to Blues.
And can Channel K please clarify whether he's going... all right, so he just has Blues 3-1, okay.
And I'm going to go 11,112.
11-1-1-2. 1-1-1-1-2?
Yeah.
That's almost like a telephone directory number, isn't it? I'm going to go 1-4 to Blues. Okay. I know. I'm loving it, mate. Tamara Gray, another hat trick. I'm on it, Ken. I'm on it.
I need to score another hat-trick.
12-7-5-3. And we've got Doco coming in with this one.
He's gone for 3-1.
Doco, is that 3-1 Blues?
Yeah,
Yeah.
3-1 Blues, 12.
What's the rules and regulations on changing your predictions so quickly?
Can't do it.
And who else? We've got Blue Arbor there, yeah?
Blue Arbor, yeah. Blue Arbor's gone 1-1.
1-1.
12,000.
The only one that's
Fancy
gone
Blue
up
Arbor
for
there now.
12,000. Anybody
I
else
like
wants to have a
Copper's
go at that? You can either put on the chat box, you can
You can email
you can email it.
You can put something on Twitter, you can put something on Facebook.
Absolutely.
It's all Sports Radio 1 being the number.
Okay, now in the second half, what we're going to do is the Derby at home game on the 26th, so we'll do the competition for that one as well in the second half. And we're rumbling through it today. I tell you what a good mood we're all in. It's, the last Tilton Talk show of the year. Blues go out on a 6-1.
Boring
fashion
6-1.
Yeah, boring 6-1. Boring 6-1 Boring 6-1.
I was boring for the final half. I was thinking Saturday, I might as well go home now. I'm not doing anything. I'll tell you what. When it got to 6-1 after 60 minutes, I was convinced we were going to do. I thought we were going to do what Bournemouth did to us on Reading, because they were looking so shaky, and we were just. It was almost like every time we went forward, we were going to score. Because I think we had 5 shots, 5 goals.
5 shots, 5
Yeah,
goals.
well,
Now I received a retweet from the Reading. Pretty similar to the Blues website.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were kind of like berating us, saying that they'd had 75% of the possession.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we've had 5 shots, 5 goals.
Yeah.
That's 100%. It's 100%. You can't get away from that. You know, what an absolutely tremendous performance.
That's one. That's it's one thing we haven't been in years. I don't think I've ever known a
Millwall was the last
absolutely purely ruthless in front of goal. You know, Reading can say that, and they probably did. They had, you know, the fair share of possession, but when we got the ball, we looked lively and we looked dangerous, and we took our chances, and you know, for the first time in ages,
I think
we were just clinical.
What those stats about the possession actually tell you, though, is probably how much this team, how good we are on the counter.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah.
unbelievable, because we've had relatively little of the ball.
Yeah.
And yet every time we've gone for, I think that's what Gary Rowett's trying to put an emphasis on, because he plays with the two fast wide men, and he plays with Shinnie, who's mobile in behind as well.
Middle, yeah.
Whereas Clark would probably play, he'd tend to play Novak, and he might play someone else who was not that mobile inside. And whereas now we've got three fast players and they're just flying.
Yeah. Well, the second goal, Gray's first goal, it's just a long ball forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've won the ball back. It's a long ball forward. Shinnie's won the knockdown. And if you've got Gray or Cottrell getting into that gap between the midfield and defence and running at the defence,
They're going to cause problems.
And Gray took his chances.
Excuse me. And another thing as well, that free kick, how well worked was that
Yeah.
one?
Off
You don't
the
see
training
that at St
ground,
Andrews.
wasn't
You
it?
don't. That's not a
No.
Birmingham City football team doing that.
No, it was a...
But apparently that was Kevin Summerfield. Gary Wright even said after, apparently Kevin Summerfield deals with all the stuff like the set piece.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kevin Summerfield.
Apparently they'd
Kevin
been-
Summerfield.
Oh,
Round of applause for Kevin Summerfield.
friend of the show.
But apparently they've been practicing. You could tell he's one they've been practicing all week, hadn't he?
Yeah,
Like, and it
yeah,
just
yeah.
come on. But the thing is, they tried it again in the second half, and it nearly worked again.
And the Cottrell free kick, straight in. Absolutely. Peach perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think
He probably didn't mean that, actually.
Was
I think he looked a little surprised
Well, he
when it did
But when
go
you
in.
put a ball in that area, it's always got a chance of missing everybody, and
Yeah.
the keeper's in no man's land,
Yeah.
isn't he?
He struck it well, but their keeper's got to look at himself for that. The way he's come out like
Yeah.
a starfish, and
Yeah.
he's got
Yeah.
absolutely nowhere near anything. And you're like,
But the Damari Gray 3 goals were absolute pure quality.
Yeah.
Pure quality. That one where he robbed the ball on the
Yes.
far side,
Yeah.
and then passed it to him, and he just flew in, didn't it?
I just hope there weren't no scouts watching. There
was. And also Chris Houghton was at the game.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Thank God he ain't got a club at the moment. Then
Well, there is that. 'Cause, there was actually a little debate on Radio West Midlands earlier whether Damari Gray or Nathan Redmond is the better player.
Redmond.
You were going to go Redmond? Everybody else was going Damari Gray.
Not yet.
Damari Gray is an all-rounder.
I would say they're slightly different in that.
Oh,
Nathan
Yeah.
Redmond was the sort of winger. I think he did like to cut inside, but I always
I
think
tell you,
he
Nathan
was
Redmond,
more.
I tell you, he reminded me of little white-haired guy we used to have. Went to Everton.
How long ago?
Recently.
Oh, no, 10, 15 years ago.
Little white
Little white-haired guy went to Everton. Stayed at Everton for quite a while. Got into the England setup eventually.
And about AJ?
Yeah.
Andrew
Andrew
Johnson.
Johnson. Yeah.
Where's that guy gone to?
Redmond reminds
He's a
me of
kid,
his
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
style of play a little
He had a
bit.
massive
Right.
injury.
Yeah, anyway, sorry, Nat.
Redmond reminded me. I think Redmond, like, he did like cutting inside from the left, but also I think he was someone who really liked playing. He liked going to the byline and whipping a ball
Yeah.
across. Whereas Damari Gray, I think he's more of a floater. He's not what I call an out and out winger. He almost reminds me a bit of like Raheem Sterling,
Yeah.
in that he just
Inside.
floats around like he doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't just
Yeah.
like go to the byline. He floats in and around.
I think that's what makes him dangerous, isn't
Yeah.
it? 'Cause you can't just say, well, I'll show him outside, because he can go outside or inside.
Yeah. Whereas I'd say Redmond was more of an out and out winger, just
Yeah.
someone who would go to the ball and whip
Okay,
a ball in.
all right,
So
I think Redmond's
$64 million question. Can we keep him come January?
Yes.
You think he'll stay?
Yes. I don't think he'll go in January now.
Right, because he's come out with a few little comments, hasn't he?
Saying,
How much he loves the club, etc.
Yeah, that's kiss of death, isn't it?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
Your take, Nat?
I think Edmonds at the same. didn't they?
I don't... Go on, sorry.
I mean, I know we've said that
We've got Newcastle and Liverpool sniffling.
I know we've said the financial position is more stable than it's been for quite a while, but
4 million's 4 million.
if someone if someone comes in with 4 million quid, are we in a position to turn it down? I don't think we are.
But what's he actually really genuinely worth? If we were a
I was
Premier
just
League
about to
team
say
now,
that.
right, what would that 18-year-old be worth in the state that he's in and the game that he's playing at the minute?
Agreed, but he's not a
16
Premier League
to
player.
20 million?
And he scored a fantastic hat-trick on Saturday, but it is only one game. And if you're going to start paying plus of £1 million, I think you want a bit more consistency. And I don't think Premier Leagues are going to gamble
Well, I think
money on on one performance.
I think also what the Premier League will probably do, any Premier League team that comes in for him would take him for the 4 million. I'd say 4 million as he stands at the minute,
So
and then loan him out.
Yeah.
Probably
Probably back to-
what
probably
price
back
would
to-
you put? What price would you put on him?
I can't. You know, he's 18.
So difficult,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is. It is. He's 18 years old.
How many 18-year-olds have you seen burst onto the scene,
And then-
they end
and
up,
then first.
like you said,
Yeah.
in a big club, rotting in the reserves or
Yeah.
back out on loan?
Yeah.
When you're talking about transfer fees, you know what I'm thinking of right now? Remember Wilfred Zaha?
Yeah.
How much did
Yeah.
you know, he spent? It was £10 million, but over £10 million, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know,
Well,
I know
look,
he'd had more games than Gray, but he never played above the Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he fetched over 10 million, and now he's back at Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look
So
at-
like,
It's a
Look at
funny old
Sterling
game,
now.
mate.
Yeah,
Funny old
It
game.
was the next big thing,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
we've just mentioned Sterling
Yeah.
turning down £70,000 a week at Liverpool because he thinks he's good enough for what? Because the Sun newspaper have told him that Real Madrid are interested.
All right.
But how Zaha's the perfect example of how quickly somebody's form can drop.
Yeah.
He's nowhere near the player he was last season, Sterling.
I mean, especially in that age. But the Zaha point was more as well. You know, it can just show how a player's value can rocket, especially at that age, if they have a few good games.
Yeah.
English.
So it's
English is always a premium as well, isn't it?
It just
Yeah.
so I don't know. I don't know if you can actually put a price on Damari Gray.
Well, he's already in the England setup, isn't he? Is it the under 20, under 18s?
Yeah,
Under 18s, I
something
think,
like
isn't
that,
he? Yeah,
yeah.
he's already familiarising himself
Yeah.
with the way that England games come together. So yeah, it's a great prospect, but
6 million says BC.
6 million. Yeah, it wouldn't.
What did Redmond go for in the end?
Do we know?
It was a steal, wasn't it?
He was 3 million, I think.
Do
If
you
not.
think that Redmond actually?
But surely we were in a-
set Norwich on fire.
No.
I mean, we were in a better position than we are now when we sold Redmond.
I'm not sure. From what I heard, and back then our cash flow problems were very severe.
Financially,
Oh, yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah,
But in
the
terms
league,
of,
yeah.
I mean, we just got to the playoffs, hadn't we?
Oh, we just finished mid-table in 2013. That's when he went.
Was that when he went?
Yeah, it was finished with- yeah, we were probably in a better position in the league, but it's fine. It's the finances, wasn't it? I don't think we were in a very good position then at all. But from what I've heard, like
Yeah.
the cash flow, we desperately needed money, but Redmond was always a funny one because he could drift in and out of games, and he could have good games and he could have really bad. Whereas I think actually Damari Gray's been slightly more consistent.
Yeah.
Blue Hobber's saying is Gray better than Jordan Ibe that we had last season. Similar players.
That Ibe's on loan at Derby now, isn't he? So.
I don't think we ever saw the best of Jordan Ibe personally last season. We saw little glimpses of it, but there was never. I'm not sure if he ever.
Would perhaps
fitted
like
into
to have
the
seen him
team
play
last
under
season.
Gary, to be honest with you.
No, well, the way Gray and
Gray
Cotton are
one side,
playing,
Ibe
yeah,
the
you
other.
would, like, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he was ever fit. Well, I'm not sure if he ever fitted into a Clark side, or if he was really cut out for the position we were in when we were slogging against relegation.
And what did Mr. Clark do again the weekend? Weren't they winning and then drew?
No, they were losing. The draw.
were
No,
losing,
equalised
were they?
in the last minute.
They took the lead,
Blackpool.
didn't they?
No, 1-1. Charlton took the lead.
No,
well,
Blackpool.
no.
I'm sure Blackpool took the lead.
No,
We'll be corrected on the shout box
Yeah.
in a minute.
Blackpool scored in the 89th minute.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought they went 1-0 up and then Charlton went 2-1 up.
You see, I don't really take much notice of other teams. You see.
Yeah, no. I was just looking through the scores. Remember, like 5 minutes ago, I was like, flicking through the scores and I saw Charlton had 1 up, and who came up at 1-1. Well, Black Charlton had drawn 1-1, so I knew Blackpool had got a late equaliser.
Yeah.
I must say, Chris, the chocolate raisins are going down a treat.
Lovely, aren't they?
Yeah,
Pretty addictive.
far better than the wasabi peas ever were, ever. Right, crikey, 10 past already, matey. Where's it gone to? All right, we're going to take a little half-time break. Glad we got rid of the buzz for you. It was one solitary microphone that was causing the problem. We do apologise for that little technical hitch, and we'll see you back here in a couple of minutes' time.
We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say?
And a mighty large helping of chocolate raisins in the interval there. Welcome back to the Tilton Talk Show, the very last one of 2014. Crisp, Hugh, I am genuinely sorry for offering you chocolate raisins. I really mean
You're
that.
forgiven.
Chris is on a diet. How much have you lost, mate?
3 stone, 2.
In how long?
15 weeks.
That is incredible.
It's pretty good.
It's incredible.
Yeah, so.
If I suck the chocolate off, do you want the raisin?
No, thank you. No. That sounds even worse.
It actually does. Yeah, can you edit that bit out?
Can we dump that?
Can you edit that bit out? Capo, alright mate?
You alright?
Good evening.
Oh dear.
Evening.
It's a madhouse in here tonight, even without Father Christmas. How are you, young man? What have you been up to?
I'm just shocked about the win, to be honest.
Well, yeah. It's
the
a
only
nice shock, though, isn't it?
I don't think anyone's touched on this actually, but it's just my opinion. I don't think it's the fact of where on earth did those goals come from. Honestly, I expected us to start getting wins higher than just the 1-0, 2-1 eventually. I just didn't expect it to be this close into Rowett's revolution, I like to call it. But I think it was coming, I really do think that it's not just a chance of luck. I think it's the fact that these players are getting good.
How in 5 or 6 short weeks, though, do you turn around an 8-0 defeat to thrash in Reading 6-1 with the same set of players apart from Morrison?
Well, it has to be questioned whether what actually happened, the people who backed Clark and said it wasn't his fault.
I'll always back the manager.
How can you still back that case up now that he's gone and Birmingham City are flying?
And it's nice to hear those words for a change as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like we're going on holiday flying, is it? We're actually flying at the minute. We're flying up that table, man. 4 places this week is a brilliant achievement.
It's like we're defying gravity at the moment.
I don't really have any real good words to say about Clark, but I do think sometimes it is just a case of a fresh face in a different club, and it's working.
But don't forget, he was a fresh face in a different club from
Huddersfield.
Yeah,
he was. But with this group of players, obviously it just wasn't working. I
don't think they had 100% trust in him.
Possibly not. And Rowett certainly has given them the confidence to express themselves.
I just love the way Rowett puts himself across to the media.
Yeah,
incredible. It's almost an art, isn't it? To do that?
Yeah. Composed, and I mean, when we lost to Blackpool, we didn't see him sulk or head down or anything. It was just okay. We've lost one. It was always going to happen. We move on and we bounce back next week, and we did. So,
I think looking back, you look at it almost, especially towards the end, you could just tell the situation had got to him, like how tough he'd found it in the 2 years of the league, and you could just see it was all over. I mean, you could see the relief when look on his face at Bolton.
I mean, he'd lost the fans a long time before that, though. I mean, the Tilton Road fans, there was no, Lee Clark's Blue and White Army had petered out, and there was, But
you could just see how much the situation had actually drained him. I mean, did you ever hear Clark's last interview with Tom Ross?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
He sounded like a man who was actually condemned.
I think he probably knew the writing was on the wall at that point in time. He probably knew he'd got an interview this afternoon, and that was going to be that.
I think, but the thing is, under him, we had good games. We had, in my opinion, just very, very brief, I'll go on him. Yeah, we had 2 good teams under him. We had the one at the end of 2012-13. I think it lost like 3 in 17 games, and then we had the one at the end of 2013 that went 10 games unbeaten. Now, both times, those teams were taken away from him. Granted, they never played the sort of football that we're playing now, but they were decent championship sides. Under him, though, generally, for me, we always looked like a team that was just a couple of steps away from becoming a decent enough championship side. Problem was, we were always one step away from becoming a pub side, so it was just we just seemed one step from disaster. It was just,
the change that I've seen, though, is the stability of the team week in and week out. And players are now starting to think, well, I'm going to be playing next week because I've just played out my skin again. And with Lee Clark, I don't think we had that. You could have been putting the goalposts up one week, playing the next, or anything.
There were some inexplicable changes, weren't there? Players in decent runs like Mitch Hancock's, and then he'd just be gone the week after or something. I think it's just it's given everybody such a lift, and it, like Nat said, the feeling around not only Clark, but the feeling Clark had throughout the whole season.
Yeah,
it must have affected the players. The players must have seen it in him. Must have seen him be down all the time as well.
But again, his interview techniques are to look at the floor.
Yeah.
I can't stand that in a football manager, no matter who they are. Right?
Yeah.
If you're being addressed and you're being spoken to and you're speaking about your football club, look at the camera. I'm looking at you when I'm speaking that, aren't I?
Yeah,
You know, I wouldn't speak to you and look away. It's rude.
I don't think he did it intentionally. I think he just. As I said, I think it's like strange. I mean,
Did
there's
get
some
to him, yeah.
there's some managers who just don't give guarantees. I remember once, like Steve Coppell. His interviews were the worst things you could ever listen to. You would rather listen to a cat screaming. You know, but he was a pretty good manager. That's just one example of a manager who didn't particularly give spell on interviews. But as I said, I just think the whole thing eventually just got on top of him. The Blues, like the fact that we had so much. Because let's face it, he did have a lot of upheaval to deal.
Oh, sure.
Uphill with, and I think it eventually did get to him. But
when things are going wrong, you always look at the tiny little things as well, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, some.
Is he overlapping on that?
His Capo's got his... Capo, turn your radio
Put your
on.
headphones on, Capo.
I think with Clark as well, from people who've spoke to, like you speak about Robbo, Colin Tatton, they all said he worked very, very hard. But I think sometimes you can even work too hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can almost try too many things. You can almost try and change things too much. Sometimes you've got to sit back and think, well, what's the bigger picture here? And maybe just towards the end he just wasn't capable of that sort of lateral thinking. But I think history will be a better judging than the present is.
Absolutely.
Put it that way.
Yeah, and we've still got a long way to go. As Blue Arbor said a couple of minutes ago, 7 points from the bottom three, 10 points off the playoffs position. 10 points off the playoff position, 20 points approximately away from safety. The crucial period is coming up, and this is going to be, that the time is over Christmas. Saying, hey, don't look at the football leagues till after Christmas. Well, we're about there now, so not far off. Now is the time. Now is the hour. And I just keep believing. I genuinely believe in my heart that Gary's going to continue to deliver.
Yeah,
It's almost people ringing into Radio West Midlands today. Are you listening to this, Capo?
Yeah.
People ringing into Radio West Midlands this afternoon, on this evening's show, now expecting at least a playoff place.
No,
You can't expect the
Can't be having that at all.
I mean,
hang on,
I'll be pretty chuffed with these.
Francie was trying to encourage them and say, well, do you think you can make this? Is this a possibility? Is it on the cards? Look at us.
No.
It's the first time I've had that sort of thinking in quite a while. But
Yeah, but think about it. Think about the point ratio that we've had over these last few years. If that can continue, there's nothing.
If it could continue, we could win the league. But you have to be realistic. It is not going to
We have to take in
continue.
consideration there are other teams in that.
There are 8 or
you
9
know,
very good teams in
Could
the
also
league.
be on a good
There are,
run.
but bit by bit,
And on.
if we just keep picking away, right?
Yeah.
10 points away at the moment. 10 points. That's just 3 and a bit games
I
to win.
remember when I was a kid. I think it was Crystal Palace. They went up in 2004. I think they were bottom of the league.
Yeah.
In December.
Yeah, I remember that.
They were actually
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
They weren't just
Yeah.
like lower half. They were
Yeah.
actually rock bottom, and they managed to go up through the playoffs. So I suppose it could be done. I mean, I think in 2001, 2002 under Steve Bruce, weren't we in a similar sort? Not
We were about
Pretty much.
15th, weren't we?
we were 15th.
14th,
We weren't in a
15th.
particularly
Yeah.
good position. We managed to break. There's
Yeah.
things with this league as well. 10 points. It ain't that much, you know. You get.
Burnley showed last year as well.
Capo, what's your take? What do you reckon? Could we make a playoff place, Birmingham City?
Honestly, I do think we could if we keep the standard of play that we're doing at the moment.
Chris Pugh shaking his
Honestly,
head.
as a Birmingham City fan, I can see us getting into the playoffs. Maybe not get the promotion, because to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't like to be in the Premiership anyway at the moment.
We get in like.
I can just see it happening if the Blues keep the standard that they're playing at the moment. We could get somewhere.
Capo, thing is, if, right, and this is a massive if, like, I'm really hypothetical. What do you call it?
Hypothetical.
Thank you.
Hyperventilating.
Hypotheticalising.
It was hyperventilated.
Right? Let's assume Birmingham City do get into the Premier League this year. And I know you're laughing, Chris.
This season. Okay.
I know you're laughing.
Yeah.
Look, and just think about this. Look at how much more of a sellable club it is all of a sudden. And that's the angle I'm coming from here.
But then BIHL own a Premier League club.
Oh, there you go.
Who's going to want to sell that? If they're not going to want to sell it when we're in the Championship.
All of a sudden.
I'm just wincing at the thought of Blues in the Premier League right now, because you got to think it'd be like Paul Robinson who'd be 37 against Robin van Persie or Wayne Rooney or Aguero.
It's skin on. It's skin on.
Yeah, we would be.
Yeah, but Carson will be out by then with his billions, so we'll just go out and buy Sergio Ramos.
No, I think
And all of a sudden we've got Sky money. And if we could-
Well,
I'm
yeah,
just thinking bounce back money.
I'm just
That's
thinking
what I'm saying.
about,
It's like it's kind of assuring your future for 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
isn't it? As a club, yeah.
I'm just thinking about Clayton Donaldson up against Vincent Kompany, and like,
No,
I think financially I could see the benefits,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think we'd probably be like good competitors with that Derby team. So they've
Oh,
got like 12
yeah,
points.
yeah.
Yeah. We'd be in that sort of territory. We went up now. I mean,
BCFC UK is saying, but if you get into the Premier League, would you want Carson Young to sell?
No.
well, it depends on
If he's out and proven innocent,
well, it depends how much money he's got. As I said,
Well,
we don't
yeah.
actually know how much money he's got. But if I was, well, no, I would want him sold if like Bill Gates came along and said, like,
Well.
well, Birmingham City, yeah. Sorry, it's no blood.
You wouldn't turn it down, would
you
you?
only want the seller to sell when there's a better buyer coming
Yeah.
along, don't you?
Yeah.
Anonymous guest is saying Premier League. Then it's you're looking at 80+ million.
but be careful what you wish for. We all want it gone.
Yes,
Full of
yes,
that.
look, I remember it well. I remember it well.
Here's a question then. With Capo, you think we can get into the playoffs? If I offered you 18th now, would you take it?
I don't know.
I would. I'd take staying in this division this season after the start.
If we,
I think you have to.
Let's think of it this way. Staying in this league is going to be a priority
Yeah.
until we have the backing from the ownership and the money from the ownership. But if we are able to get into the playoffs, if we are able to go above or wherever we can get, we might as well get to the highest stage. No, as I've said, I wouldn't really like to be in the Premiership until everything is done and dusted and proved to us that we have the backing from the ownership. But the priority at the moment is trying to stay in this league and trying to get as high as we possibly can in the league. Because if we're not going to do that, what's the point of playing in the league? If we're not going to try and get as high
that's
as
a good
we
point.
possibly can.
In the Championship, is it as in the Premiership where the higher you stand in, the more money you get coming in?
I think it may be, but I don't think it's not like in the Premier League every place is worth like £1 million
Yeah.
now. I think in the Championship
Nothing
it's
like that, no.
nothing like that. I don't think it's.
And somebody's actually agreed with you on the shout box. I don't know what over.
Well done that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
you
you.
get one thing right.
If Blue Arbor could clarify what Nat was right, so we got it in writing.
Yeah.
Blue Arbor's saying, I'm still hoping Abramovich gets bored with Chelsea and comes looking for the real Blues.
Yeah. Good
But,
luck.
but then I don't know. Would you surely get bored with like being able to compete all the time and winning things all the time? Could you,
Well,
could
we-
you actually get bored of that?
No.
We're not used to it. You see,
I'll tell you that now.
we are not used to stability at Birmingham City Football Club, are we?
No.
We're used to incredible highs and incredible lows. You know, when we went down
Usually
to the
one
old...
following the other.
Absolutely.
Within a year or something.
We're like periods of recession and glut, aren't we?
Yeah.
Really, you know what I mean? It's either all or nothing.
Usually bloody recession.
Yeah.
You know, when we lifted that Carling Cup final, there's no way on this earth would I have thought that, you know, within just a few short weeks we'd have been ownerless, asset stripped, down a division.
Not being able to go to the Chinese again.
I did 2 years, Chris. 2 years. I did not have a Chinese meal. I took their economy down on my own. I used to go to the Ruby restaurant every Sunday night and have combination ribs. £8. It's gone up now. It's chuffing well gone up now. I went there the other week and it's gone up. They're going to trying to recoup the money off me, aren't they?
It's your fault, really.
This is interesting because Anon is saying a few more surprises to come over the next 4 weeks. Keep your heads up. Blues are on the up. Anon, identify yourself.
And explain yourself.
I have
Explain.
a feeling I know who Anon is.
Is it
I'll
Peter?
keep it to myself.
Is it Peter Panner?
Yeah, he's coming back.
He's going.
He did say he was going to seek re-election.
He's probably
Peter Panner's coming into the show.
partisan side, so he's come on to ours
For
his points of view.
Yeah, surprised. No,
Quality,
no,
absolute
because
quality.
that looks like it hasn't been written by a child.
Oh, dear me. That was good. Nice one, Nat. Well done for that one, yeah. 4 out of 10 for your unadulterated humour there.
I wasn't joking.
Bit of news today, Breck Shea has gone back to Stoke.
Thank God for that.
Yeah,
I mean, he
I was going to say,
didn't
not
exactly
massive
make an
loss.
impact, did he, bless him?
He made Julian Gray look like a warrior.
Yeah.
Like the way he used to, like the way he used to bottle challenges, like flip here.
But having said that, I think
Was his last performance the Wolves game when he come on as sub?
Oh, no, Blackpool, and he came on against Blackpool and he was bowler catch, it's absolutely atrocious. But at Wolves he came on 2 minutes and he gave a goal away. It
was the first ball in, he'd come on to Mark Sacco.
I think he ducked.
And he just headed the ball straight to him.
Yeah. At least Gary has had the common sense to send him back to Stoke. He's not going to fit in with the Blues set up. So away you go. That's the way football is, isn't it? That's just the way it is. When we took Donaldson on, I didn't think. I really genuinely didn't think we got a very good player there.
Yeah.
And then all the reports that were coming through were saying how poor he was for was it Dingles he was with, wasn't it? Brentford. Sorry, yeah, Brentford. I got that one. And I didn't think we'd really picked up a very good player there, but he's proved himself inside out.
He's a confidence player. He's a classic. He needs if he's feeling good about himself, you can tell he'll be. But you could tell like the last few games under Clark, and I remember that the Bournemouth game as well, the travesty, the 8-0 defeat. He just looked like a man who had the weight of the world on his shoulders, but since the new manager's come in, he just seems to...
Yep.
Them 2 goals against Watford, I mean, the one, I think it's one of them goals that a striker needs sometimes, with ricocheted off a defender's arse and trickled into the net. And after that...
Did you say backside then?
Backside, yeah. Trickled off someone's backside and
Dub button.
You're dragging the standards of the show down now, Peters.
They can't get it,
We were all worried about Doco last week, but it was that.
I must say Doco did very well, actually, containing himself.
He restrained himself.
He made one slip.
No, that's right.
One Freudian slip, that's all he made.
Yeah.
But no, he got one of them. He got that sort of goal against Watford, and then he got another one that night. And I think since then he just looks a completely rejuvenated.
The Rotherham goal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was so lucky for that Rotherham goal, the fact that he actually managed to fall on his backside, had enough time to get up, and then still put it away.
Yeah.
I mean, mental really, but it's the way it goes.
Reading have sacked manager Nigel Adkins after an inconsistent championship season finished. For Adkins with a 1-6 thrashing at Birmingham City on Saturday at the final whistle. Travelling fans made their opinion heard with boos and chants of Adkins out. However, despite the lack of support from the fans in recent weeks, his departure still feels a shock after the lack of communication from the new Thai owners.
Oh,
I don't know all about that.
hold on. Championship
That rings a bell.
A championship club having trouble with their Middle Eastern owners? No.
It's another. I feel slightly sorry. It's another club that's had massive financial problems over the past year or so. If I remember rightly, Reading.
Yeah.
They've had to make massive cutbacks. But I suppose if you lose 6-1 at Birmingham City, you can't be too
Struggling,
I genuinely wonder what Huddersfield are thinking now. They got bounced on Saturday, and we're flying. Could it be another rout? Could it be? I've gone for the 1-4.
I think they've got a good manager in there, Chris Powell.
I don't think he'll get carried away.
He'll make them solid.
We've got a quality manager there, kid. Shiniesta. I want to talk about Shiniesta. His name, Shiniesta, has returned. Yeah, it was rightfully taken away from him midway through last season. But again, another player that has just turned himself around completely. He's shining. Shinny the Shiner. He's absolutely on fire.
Yes.
But I said last week, he was like almost persona non grata under the last manager.
Yeah.
But now, I mean,
He actually looked like. No, I was speaking to Eve about him because obviously she studies a Scottish football, yeah, and she says there you've got a really quality player.
Yeah.
And when he came, I thought, well, the standards between English and Scottish football must be incredibly different then, yeah, because he really didn't do much of a great deal under Lee Clark, did he? And look at him. It just wow.
The player of the year award's coming up soon.
He got the man of the match as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, I think.
Or did Damari Gray get it? Damari Gray.
Oh, Damari Gray must have got it.
Probably should have got it, shouldn't they?
Doco says, all hail the Shiniesta.
Who would you pick as your player of the year so far?
well, if Shinny keeps playing like this, it'll be him.
It's got to be him, yeah.
You know,
But
For 2014 or the first half of the season?
first half of the season. No,
First
season,
half
season so far.
Season so far.
Good question, Chris. Open that out to everybody else.
Yeah.
Put it on the chat box.
Capo, have you got an idea of
So
far? Cottrell, yeah, good shout. Yeah.
Cottrell, good
Cottrell
shout.
stood out for me.
You know, I'd go for
That is a good shout.
if we're going from right from this because obviously he's had a good month, but he's not really been playing before that. If I was actually going to pick, so I'd probably pick David Davis.
Or Morrison and I could
David-
pick the pair
David,
of Morrison and Robinson for their.
Yeah, Morrison's had a very good start.
They remind me very much of the Scott Dan and
Johnson
partnership. Yeah.
But David Davis has been fantastic, I think. He's come in, he's really
Consistent.
because I thought that the Adiemi going would be a massive void, but he's a different type of player, and I think he's another one who fits in a lot better with the Gary Rowett sort of thing. There's more like emphasis sometimes a lot ball retention. Like Adiemi was a box to box one. He wasn't
How many
particularly
times have
good
we
on
heard
the
that
ball,
name though since he's been gone, Adiemi? How many times have we heard that name
Yeah.
out there in the media, out in the press, on social networks, anyone else?
Well, he's at Cardiff. He's a nothing player at the moment. But under Clark, I think he was critical to Clark's sort of plan because Clark was a mate. He liked to play what I may call it the percentages game, where you basically you try and win every two out of three balls, and he was brilliant for that because he would go literally box to box all blooming game. He was built like a ball and whatever. But David Davis, and he's a lot slighter, but he's probably a lot better on the ball. But I think
worked
he's done
well with
really well.
Gleeson as well in the middle.
Yeah, I think
good partnership.
I think he's done very well since he's coming, and he came in practically on a free from Wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So he's been good.
Davis for me or Donaldson, said Blue Obber.
No, he's no
Donaldson
line, yeah.
all throughout the season.
Do you know, it's really hard to choose.
It is,
do you know
yeah.
what I'd do?
'Cause it's such a poor
I'd give it
start.
everybody. I'd give it everybody.
Even
for the
Brett
way
Shea?
that-
Brett
no,
Shea,
he's not. He's no longer a Birmingham player, is he? Big player of the year, he's not even there, man.
Then again,
for the way that they've turned them,
thrashing, we would wanted to sack a lot of them.
8-0.
but for the way they've turned themselves around from that day, right?
Yeah.
Birmingham City's darkest day that was, that 8-0 thrashing.
Yep.
Do you reckon those players actually, in hindsight, needed something like that, though? I mean, I know we'd had some heavy defeats last season, but nothing.
I think
quite-
it was always on the cards, it was just going to happen.
Yeah.
But do you reckon that's almost like woken them up a little bit, and it's just like, well, we can't actually do any
No,
worse than this?
I really genuinely think that Gary Rowett going in and saying whatever's happened in the past is in the past. Today is a new start for all of us. Yeah, and he said he's gone up and he's patted some on the back, and he's lifted some up, and he's had to put some down. Right. But I think the way that he comes across as his style of management has changed Birmingham City Football Club players complete.
Yeah.
He seems a lot more sure of himself than perhaps the previous manager.
Yeah, and it's like you said earlier about that Blackpool defeat. You know, this could happen. Right, move on. Next week, bring another one on.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we want to hear. Not, and I will berate Clark for this. You know, like blaming and kicking everybody else. You know what I mean? Yeah. It happened. We'll move on from that. It happened, and I'm sure he'll get back into that dressing room. Right, rocket those that he needs to rocket, lift them that he needs to lift, pat them that he needs to pat, do what he needs to do in the week to bring them round. And what do we do? Turn it round 6-1. Thank you very much, Gary Rowett. I'll have it. I'll have it.
So within a few weeks, we've had the lowest point,
Yeah.
and we've had the highest point of the season.
Certainly of the season, Chris.
Yeah,
so
so
far.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
also won 3 home games
Yep.
out of 4.
That's it.
Four home games unbeaten.
Yeah.
And you know, I think we're all agreed Clark went
When was
on
the
the
10
back of
match
that home
unbeaten?
form.
When was the 10 match? Was that last season or
Last
season?
Season before, wasn't it? 10.
That's 10 matches this season. It
How was
finished.
it
It went from. I remember the game. I remember we lost to Charlton. It was a dire game, and then I remember thinking, bloody hell, because we went. Blooming it. We went into the bottom 3 that, and I'm thinking, I don't know if we're going to get out of this.
Yeah.
We got 10 games unbeaten. It was absolutely fantastic. But then, as I said, that was a point where I actually thought he's actually built a blooming half decent championship side. And then all of a sudden, within a couple of weeks, 4 of them were taken away from him.
Yeah.
He had the 3 low knees that were taken back, and you had Adiemi, who was so crucial. I said he was so crucial to it, and he got crocked, and he wasn't the same player again all season.
No, yeah.
So, and then that's nearly half your team. And there ain't that many clubs that can cope with the core of half the team. Just
Can you please hurry up with the derby predictions? I need the toilet. Lots of love, Doco. Okay, here we go.
Oh, go on then.
We'll do this now. Right, this game I'm going to Block 11. I'll be there. Hopefully, I can find a driver. If not, I might just have to
I'll be
book a
there.
taxi. You'll be. Oh, watch out! I might be on it, kid.
I'll bring my helmet.
You do
it
that.
can't be any worse than you were against Ipswich.
I'll be home. I enjoyed myself against Ipswich. It's just a shame they scored in the last minute. You know,
Suppose you remember.
took the shine off the game.
Is that the one you were drunk?
Very. Yeah, very. I don't get drunk very
I had
often.
to move over to block 13. in for that one.
Let's move to the Gilmeg.
Right, Chris, Derby at home, Boxing Day.
Me first again. Okay.
It's going to be a cracking game, that is.
Yeah.
There's going to be some atmosphere.
It is.
There's going to be a few Derby there.
Derby sold out to about 2 and a half weeks ago.
They sold it straight away.
Yeah, a lot of fans. I'll go at an attendance of 18 to 1-1.
2-1-1. Predictions and scores. You do take your time,
I
don't you?
do. 0-2
To Derby.
Yeah.
Oh. No.
Both teams can score. Both teams can score goals. They've been a bit shaky recently. I've got a funny feeling we're going to win this 4-3.
Did they lose on Saturday?
They lost on Saturday,
4-3. Okay, go for it. Attendance.
22,384.
Come on.
22,000.
384.
It's Boxing Day.
Well, Boxing Day. Derby bringing 3.5.
It's all right. Hang on. Look, he's entitled to his opinions. He's entitled. Now,
4-3.
you have
With
just
20
been caught laughing at that on sports
Can
radio.
you imagine?
Now,
4-3 in front of 22,000.
Can you imagine coming back after the new year on the very first day, Chris?
I'll tell you what, I'll be
and
more than happy to apologise.
And there's 22,385
It
there.
was 3-3 last season. It was 3-3 last season. We can because both teams can score goals, and I said they're in a bit of they're shaky at the moment, Derby.
Docker's going 2-1 to the Blues, 15,750. Chris Brown, yeah, Chris, yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 2-0.
2-0.
2-0 Blues.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go for 19,000.
19.
300.
300.
Yeah.
Capo.
I'm going to go for 3-2 to Blues.
Yep.
19,400.
Chris Pugh's laughing again.
Goals?
I just like
What is
that.
with
All right.
goals? All these goals.
Right, okay, I'm going for 18,976 and I'm going 3-1 to the Blues.
Going to be 0-0 now, isn't it?
0-0. 11,000.
Hobber's going 1-0 to the Blues with 18,250.
Keeping a clean sheet against
I think
Derby.
it'll
Oh
be
my
fair
goodness.
crowd.
And Docko's saying 15,750 2-1 and he's just left to go to the loo.
Bye, Docker.
Right, I'm off. Hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a great New Year, says Docko. And to you, my
Happy
good
New Year,
friend, too. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Docko. He's obviously going to go and spend some time doing what he needs to do.
Spring cleaning in December.
No, I'm just talking about he's not been too well today. Poorly boy. Chris, I need to have a serious conversation with you now, matey.
Ooh.
Man hugging. Tell me all about
Yes.
man hugging.
I'm
I
not
know it's
really
something
into man
football,
hugging,
right.
and I find it quite awkward.
So if I came and gave you a hug now, you'd not like
Yeah.
it?
It's not that. It's just
Oh, you would like it?
as long as there's no tongues, I don't mind. You know what I mean? But I'm not too
Wandering
sure.
hands.
Like, I don't really like the you shake hands and then you're sort of like, what's all that about? It's like
Like a wrap-up hug.
it's like
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't actually touch. You look,
Right.
what's it all about?
It's awkward.
It is awkward, isn't it? You know,
All right.
we've
Chris,
sort of
Chris,
become
can I
French.
ask you a question? You can answer this perfectly honestly.
Go on then.
When was the last time you gave a man hug? Come on.
I don't think I
He's
ever
lost
have.
for words. There you go.
I
There you
can't
go.
think of a time where I have provided anybody with a man hug.
Whatever happened to? You all right, mate?
Shake of the hand.
Man hug. No?
Yeah.
Bumping fists.
We never used to even shake hands years ago. It was like, all right, mate. All right, mate.
So, come on. When was the last time you had a man hug?
I don't
It's
recall
sort
one.
of-
You don't
Honestly,
recall
don't recall one.
You don't recall one?
Sorry.
No, Matt.
I think it was. I was on the session, so we say. It's about
Well,
half
yeah,
three-
that's a different
half
story,
three
isn't
on
it?
half 3 on Friday.
Here we
So I
go.
also giving out a few that night, like, you know, it's as you do. The last one I can remember. Actually, no, I gave a manager a hug today because
Did you?
Yeah.
You brown nose.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think.
Luke Hobb was saying out about a chest bump for us tonight for all of this.
There's one giant one in the middle.
Brilliant.
Oh my God. That would go viral on YouTube, wouldn't it?
So, Chris, you've obviously had a man hug today because your Facebook status
yes,
alerted me
sort
to
of.
it earlier.
Yeah.
Go on
It's
then.
one of them. I don't want to say too much about it because of the chaps.
No, it's
probably
fine.
listening.
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about
I
the
just
concept
feel
of it.
awkward because I don't know what it is you're supposed to do.
Hey, all right, mate. Pat him on the back.
Arms everywhere.
Yeah.
and,
No, it wasn't one of those. It just felt like one of those rapper thing, like,
Yeah.
Well, I was in the club Saturday night, and obviously people in there were as probably inebriated as you were on
Yeah.
Friday, and I must get about 30 man hugs a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least 30 man hugs a weekend.
I can understand
just
close
brush it off.
relatives,
It's just
yeah.
part. I just take it as part of the job. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's just part of the job. It's neither in there to me. Man hugs don't bother me.
Nah.
No, tongues would.
Tongues.
Man, and whiskers.
Yeah,
I, you know, there's nothing
Yeah,
worse.
yeah.
Nothing worse. I mean, that you've got a bit of a beard going on there. You know, almost look like the Grinch in that. You do.
Look like Ducker.
As I say, like I lived in France for 3 years, so I you know, sort of got used to it. I like it then.
Pecking on the cheek.
Yeah,
Becky on the cheek.
yeah.
Like, that's the
No,
step
that's
too
one thing
far.
that I couldn't get on with that.
It won't be
That's a
long.
step
You won't be
We'll
long.
go on with that. Okay, look, the drunks, when they give you a man hug, I can accept it because it's all part and parcel of what the job is, this, that and the other. And you know, you do it and walk away. I mean, you don't even bat an eyelid about it. Anyway, I suppose we better get back to the blues, really, haven't we? Right, okay. Birmingham City fans will no longer need to stay up late for their team's highlights thanks to a new TV rights deal that has come into play next season. The Football League, my friends, the Football League is reported to have agreed a deal. I wonder if it took them 9 days to agree it. That will move its highlights package from midnight slot on the BBC to a prime-time 9 p.m. show on Channel 5. It means the 90-minute show would be broadcast for more than an hour before the Premier League highlights on Match of the Day. Channel 5 have agreed to provide a peak time slot, and it was this condition that swung the deal away from two other unspecified bidders, it is believed. Now, thank you very much, but I'm sure we'll get our customary 3 minutes. Which, you know what, Chris? I am annoyed with the Football League and the Football League show, and I did tweet them, right?
Looking out to Channel 5's
I
emails.
know that doesn't say, you know, it has no impact. Actually, it at least it's there, right? We were the highest scoring football team in all divisions on Saturday, and we get 3 minutes on the Football League show.
Yeah.
Disgraceful. And what was on Middlesbrough Derby?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with the Football League show, they pick which games their main commentators go to, don't they? And if you'd have said at the start of the day which game you're going to, I think first v fourth would probably be the one.
Yeah,
So I
okay.
think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But you would say 7 goals in a game, you should probably get a
3
bit more
minutes.
airtime
Literally 3
than
minutes.
just the goals.
Right, now I can't watch the Football League show at midnight because I'm out working.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't get in until 10 3:15 in the morning. The very first thing I do is turn on the TV, put the recording on,
Yeah.
and watch it. And I'm buzzing, thinking that we're going to get, you know, the
Yeah.
6 or 7 minute slot that the game deserved. The game
Yeah.
certainly deserved that.
I don't think Reading fans would have been complaining that they only got 3 minutes.
We complained at the 3 minutes we lost 8-0.
yeah.
It's the way it goes, and it's
Yeah, I see that. I see that side of
Yeah.
it, but I don't think we've had main slot yet, have we? Have we had a
Yeah,
main slot?
the other week against
Bear in
Forest.
mind, I didn't have Tinternet, and my TV used to work through Tinternet, so I've
Yeah.
only had Tinternet on for the last
the
month
Forest
or
game
so.
was,
The Forest
wasn't it?
game was.
Right, okay, so I've only had internet on for the last 4 weeks,
Yeah.
so I've only been able to record from the last 4 weeks.
well, Forest was inside that last 4 weeks. Would have been, yeah. Forest weren't that long ago.
Trevor
May
Francis
only been
Day.
3 weeks then. May have only been 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
It was a bit of a running joke last season, wasn't it, with the Football League show, that unless you were Nottingham Forest or Leicester, you weren't, because they were the only places
Yeah.
they ever went to for the main feature game, Forest and Leicester.
But if you think it's bad enough under BBC how long we get, it'll be less under Channel 5 because I know it's a 90-minute show. But how many of that will be adverts?
yeah,
Because I remember watching us in the Premiership. Do you remember the Premiership in
ITV,
ITV? And that was horrendous. I thought it was just
yeah,
adverts all the time. Whereas at least with the BBC, it's a straight run through of football.
yeah.
Right, okay, we can report breaking news. The reason that we had a little bit of a buzz earlier was due to that picture that's just been loaded up by admin onto the shout board. Please do help yourselves and look at it, and you'll understand exactly the kind of equipment we have to work with here.
That's the eighth. That's the eighth mic I've broken.
Blue Office says 2 weeks before they gave us longer and went behind the scenes, and yes, I do remember
Yeah.
that actually.
Yeah.
I do remember that, but that wasn't the game going behind the scenes, so was it? But I did appreciate that bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nick, maybe the Football League think that is your reply. Don't quite get that one, but
No.
No, I'll move on from that. Don't forget, guys, this is the last Tilton Talk show of 2014. In with us, Chris Pugh, Nat Peters, Chris Brown and my good self, making history. We're making history today.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
Oh, great.
It's the last Tilton Talk show of 2014.
Yeah.
That will now be recorded and left as history.
Exactly.
As history.
Like every other show, in a sense.
Huh?
Like every other show we do, in a sense.
Absolutely.
Every other show is
Absolutely.
history.
Yeah, so...
We don't talk about history.
Well, you know, I'll tell you what I did like, though, is the commentary in the game on Saturday. I was listening, I've got all my devices going, I've got the TV on, I've got my iPhone on my iPad, and I'm listening to the live link on that one, twittering on this one, watching that one, to see what news comes through first. And when the Blues scored, I can't remember which goal it was because there were that many, yeah? The good old Tilton Road stuck up with Keep Right On to the End of the Road, which reverberated around the ground, and the commentators throughout the whole of that song fell silent, and it was an absolutely brilliant radio moment. It was brilliant that they just, from start of that song to the finish, they were absolutely silent, no matter what was going on in the game, right? They just allowed that song just to come through it. And for me to sit there, just soaking it in, loving it, I miss it so much. I can't wait for this Derby game now. Can't wait for it.
Did their mics break
Especially
as
as
well?
it's ending fourth tomorrow.
I'll tell you what, if there is 22,384 there, and that, I'm
It's the reason behind that is Boxing Day. And like,
and I'll
is
tell
that,
you what, you might be right, because if we thrash Huddersfield, right, if we thrash Huddersfield this weekend and a convincing win, then I think you're going to be very, very close to it.
and I think as well, I don't know what the price are, but I think they are quite reasonable for
20
Boxing
quid, I
Day.
think. £25.
Yeah.
It's £25.
Okay, it's not the cheapest we do, but it's not the most extortionate I've ever known the Blues either.
20's plenty for me. 20's plenty.
Yeah, I know, but I think, you know, if Derby ringing 3,500, whatever it is, and we are playing well.
I got to admit, I thought it'd be a bigger crowd against Reading, actually.
And what you're going to find out with Derby as well is they're going to come and make a lot of noise from early on.
Oh, yeah,
and we've
yeah.
got to absolutely block that out.
With an
and
early goal,
get
really
behind
like
our guys so much that you know, yeah, like you say, early goal, shut them up. You know, it's all farms and tractors up there. Believe me, I live up there.
They're trying to snap up a few more tickets as well, aren't they?
And,
Derby,
you know, I'm not being funny. Let's sell them. Let's get the money in.
Well,
Yeah,
to be fair, we might be. That's why we may not be doing it, because we might be expecting a bigger crowd. You never know. I mean,
Yeah.
they also
Then open the top up.
Yeah, why can't they open the top?
because
Well,
it saves on cost, doesn't it? It's all about cost.
More
You have
should-
to open
how
up
much
all
more
the bars at the top
Oh,
end as well,
yeah.
don't you? And turn the electrics on and everything like that.
Yeah.
I think that's why they stopped doing it in the
More than
first place,
just
wasn't it?
opening.
Because just no one was
Open
going.
it up, isn't it, unfortunately?
Yeah, never mind.
It's got to be cost effective.
Chris, where's the time
surely?
gone? Where's the time gone? 5 to 9.
Yeah,
5 to 9. Okay, who's betting on Peter Panu then not being a director this time?
I'd put good money on
I'll
it.
probably
I
back
don't.
it as well.
I think the fact that he's made
He's put himself up for re-election apparently on the BIHL board, hasn't he?
But the
They've
fact
just got
that
if they've got rid of him off the BIHL board.
but they've not got rid of him off the board. They've got rid of him as a chief executive or whatever.
Yeah.
If they got rid of him in doing that, and you could tell by the club statement. You see the club statement.
I
they
haven't
released
seen the
last
club's
week.
official statement.
When he left last week, they released a statement. It was literally, I think it's about 10 words saying just to confirm, Peter Panu has today resigned as director of Birmingham City Football Club, not BHL board, Birmingham City Football Club. Blah blah blah. There was nothing. Like usually, even when the most despised manager or the despised chairman,
We wish
or whatever,
him well.
We
Yeah.
wish him well for the future.
Yes. There
Whatever.
was
Or
nothing.
thank him for the efforts. Nothing. Just literally absolutely nothing.
So Peter Panu was today sacked from his role as Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Birmingham International Holdings Limited. He remains an Executive Director and will be up for re-election at the AGM on December the 23rd.
Just the
Who's
quickest.
going to re-elect them?
The announcement made to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange confirms that the board, say of Panu, Matthew Chang Song Hwa and Anthony Chung Kwai Nang,
Well done.
thought it inappropriate that Panu remain in those roles and that they would be terminated as of December the 12th. This confirms the 4-3 split between the executive directors.
So have I got this right then? So if I got this right, that Carson Young, because obviously he's got this shareholding, have I got this right that he would have voted against Peter
He's
Panu?
not allowed to vote.
Oh, is he not allowed to?
I'm pretty
Well, he
sure.
wasn't.
Is
Oh, he's
he,
someone else,
is he on the board?
Hang on.
He's not on
Yeah,
the board.
he's
He's
been
not. I
on
don't
the
think he's.
board.
No, I don't think he's on the board. Is he?
No,
So
no.
so it actually goes down to the amount of directors rather than the amount of shares they have. Because I'm not sure how it goes, but I'll be honest with you. Finance and me, I ain't got a massive knowledge of it. But I don't know. I mean, with this election that's for the actual just to be a director,
Yeah.
nothing special.
Yeah.
is it down to how much shares
Can
he
I go back
got,
to that,
or
Chris? Sorry.
the amount of
Yeah,
directors?
yeah,
and
It would
directors?
just be a shareholder vote.
But he's him and I don't know if anyone's heard, but his wife or common law wife now seems to have bought some shares in the
She's
club,
bought some shares
which
off
brings them
Wing somebody
very close to 50% between the two of them. So
Doesn't it make him this? Well, makes if she
He's got
gives
four-
if she gives the shares to him,
He's
does
got
it
four-
make him the
basically
second
he's got-
Right,
biggest
now
He's
this
got
is
44%.
read directly off the Often Partisan site. Okay, so
Yeah.
is it big? This is big news, isn't it? Question mark. It's absolutely big news, dynamite. In fact, notwithstanding forcing Panu out of two major executive positions just a short time after he quit at BCFC, the announcement is effectively a very public kick in the rear end. There is no denial about his comments on on this website. Indeed, there is almost an inference that his lack of discretion has made his position untenable after news of his comments have been splashed all over the Hong Kong press over the last 2 weeks. Panu is still up for re-election, and no one can almost see the subplot taking place where a very public announcement is made a week before the election to remind shareholders of his indiscretions prior to the big day. Can we scroll?
Interesting.
But is he still a director? Yes, and this is why December 23rd is going to be interesting. This is a very interesting paragraph. Carson still controls 28+% of BIH, and as such has a sizable vote in the meeting, so he does have a vote.
Yeah.
For me, Panu's re-election very much comes down to how much faith Carson has in the former policeman. I wouldn't like to say which way the result is going to go, because the truth is I don't think anybody knows, including Carson. BIH's largest shareholder isn't known for sticking with a thought for very long at all. And Panos, is this Panos up for re-election as well? Yes, Panos is up for re-election as well. He is, but that's nothing more than procedure. As Panos was appointed director since the last AGM, he has to have his appointment confirmed by the shareholders, so he is up for election at this point, as are Hangu and Lu Snu.
And Stu.
That's wrong.
I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, I'm genuinely sorry about the pronunciation.
No, that's
I
quite-
can't
that's
pronounce
quite
it.
Thing is,
good,
I'm
yeah.
not being-
I'll be honest
I'm
with
not
you,
being
but these names, well, that's been part of the problem. We don't know who these people are.
No, we don't.
But they just seem to be names that just seem to switch every now and then, but you don't have a clue any of these
So
people.
again, the next paragraph,
none-
Chris,
none
we
at
scroll
all.
to that one because I've just read the top half of that. I think we're going to finish after this then. I think we have to wait for the next week for the next instalment. If Panu isn't re-elected, then his connection with BCFC is pretty much dead. All right. Although only as a director of BIH, although as only Although as only a director of BIH, now he has lost a lot of sway regardless. If he is, then it will be interesting to see how he deals with his loss of power and of face. It is worth remembering that Panu retains connections with Birmingham City ladies and the community trust here, and there will need to be some discussions about his continued involvement with them both.
No,
And
that's the first time I've
earlier.
seen it online. He's actually connected.
Yeah.
I've not seen it anywhere
made
else.
public, yeah. Yeah.
Right, well that was the very last Tilton Talk show. Chris Pugh, thanks ever so much for your input, my good friend.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Have a great Christmas.
And you.
And Nat, nice to see you too, dude. Great
you.
blue and white Christmas Santa hat. We do need to have a photograph of that put on the SRB site, Chris, please.
Will do.
And a Merry Christmas to you, mate. And
You
I'll
too.
see you in the new year. Well, I'll see you at the Derby game, probably.
Yes.
You'll hear me.
Yeah.
And
I'll be trying to catch you as well. I thought
Merry Christmas to your good self, Chris, and to all our listeners and to everybody who downloads it. Keep downloading. We're rocketing up the charts as fast as the Blues are climbing the league. So a very, very Merry Christmas to every single one of you out there, and keep Christmas blue, whatever you do, and don't forget when that Derby game comes round, loud and proud. Goodbye, God bless, take care. This is the last Tilton Talk show of 2014.
Goodbye.
You got to have the last word, didn't you?